I will show everyone before I start, which is something that I have found since the beginning of this year. And it is something that my son's school gave them on a study calendar. A lot of people that come to my classes say to me, I'm hopeless, I don't remember things, I've forgotten them too quickly, and everyone thinks that it's because they're not good at this stuff, or I'm too old to learn, or whatever it is. It's absolute rubbish.
Yes.
Because there is this known thing called, if I can find it, here, the curve of forgetting. Well, it's known to me now anyway. So, the curve of forgetting. So what it's saying here is, if I turn this around.
After 30 days, that's nice.
Yeah. So a lot of people, they will come to the classes and then not really get a chance to revise what they've learnt before the next class. And maybe not at all during the whole class series. And think that it's because I'm a bit hopeless at this stuff, that's why I don't remember. What this curve they give to Year 7 kids to say, when you learn something on the day, you're at the height of what you know about that thing. And then by day 2, if you haven't revised, you're down to here. And by day 7 and 30, if you haven't revised a bit, you're down to nothing effectively. And that is normal. That's nothing to do with age, technology, whatever. That is just a fact that if you don't revise, it will be gone and you'll be starting again. So revising just means, having a bit of a play, reading your notes, just, try to do it on the first day. Try to do it a little bit each day. The more you can do it, the more you'll remember. But just know that it's normal that if you don't, it will go away.
That's great.
It's a very good thing, isn't it?
Can you send that?
Yes, I can
I've got
send
to show
that.
it to the professor.
It's true. Yeah, show it to the Mike. Yeah, I know. It's the minute I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to show all my clients because I really do hear all the time, I'm hopeless, I don't remember. And it's like, that's normal. That is completely normal.
Same sort of thing with learning languages.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've been doing my Duolingo.
That's right.
Learning French. La fear. And la fear, come. Rich. All right, so we'll get going, and your notes here. Follow your notes here, and hopefully I'll go in the right order. And just remember, if things strike you that are things you want to know about. Oh, sorry, is there not one there? I had 2 sets on each
I thought there was one here, but
She stole it.
Oh, I did steal it.
Oh, there we go. It's that one troublemaker down the back. Did you need a drink of anything or water, or you're okay? Right. So, we'll start with our guided tour. What we're going to cover today is just general settings, setup, getting around the iPad, just understanding the general stuff to do with your iPad. Week 2, we look at taking photos and managing photos, how you can put them into albums, delete the ones that are no good and all that sort of stuff. And the things you can use your camera for that you might not have thought of. It's not just for taking happy snaps.
taking a photo of
Week 3, we'll look at typing, the tricks for typing, editing, so that you don't have to, if you make a mistake at the start of your paragraph, you don't have to go all the way back to the backspace all the way, and using the mail app. And it's good to know how to type before you start talking about how to mail. Week 4, we'll go on Safari. So we're going to surf the net. We're going to learn out how to search for things, how to save our favourite places, all sorts of things about Safari. And then just a quick bit of a session on the calendar app and how you can quickly get things into your calendar and why you might do that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Week 5, we'll go shopping. But in going shopping, we can go shopping without spending any money, which is the sort of shopping we like. And so there's such a wealth of things that you can get on your iPad and iPhone. And it's via the Apple stores. And there's my phone ringing. I need to have a do not disturb on my phone. Just watch what I do here. I'm going to enable that. I'm going to have to decline that. What I needed to do there is I needed to set this to do not disturb. That's what that little symbol is. I'm going to come to this. I know I'm jumping ahead here, but I've got to do it myself. So I swipe up from the bottom of the screen. I'm going to tap that, and that will stop my phone ringing and text
So you don't have
messages.
to put it on silent?
No, you don't. And it will stop the vibration and all that sort of stuff. You can put it on silent, but the do not disturb will stop messages and alerts popping up as well. So when I'm running a session, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because
And then
it has
that will come in
that
over.
alert that pops up that says, go and have a mammogram or something like that. That's embarrassing.
And then you just take it off if you want to take it off.
Yeah, when I finish the class, I just should take that off. Yeah,
You're
it's
right,
actually a
right.
trick though. I sometimes get calls from people that say I can't get my phone to make any noises. And it could be that that's actually turned on. You've got do not disturb on. You haven't realised you've knocked it.
Which
So
button,
that
sorry?
is do not this one.
Which
The little
button did you
move.
actually press?
When you start again.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
So I
I can't.
split up. I'm going to come to this. So I just
We'll go through all
we'll
of
go
those.
through all this. I just wanted to show you while I did it then.
Yeah.
Okay, so week 5 we'll do shopping, getting content, which is not just apps. It could be books. It can also be things called podcasts. There's just this wealth of
Yes.
entertainment there and information on your iPad and iPhone and iBooks. It's not just about reading with iBooks. You can store documents in your iBooks, PDFs in your iBooks. And also in iBooks you can sample books before you go and buy them. Even if you don't want to read them on your iPad or your iPhone, you can actually sample the first few chapters before you go and buy. So today we're going to talk about, hopefully in this order, or something resembling this order, terminology, just some terminology to get you started, because often people who come to this class, the whole sort of terminology around mobile data versus Wi-Fi and modems and routers is all very foreign, so we're just going to look at a bit of that. A quick look at the iPad charging, which hopefully you've all worked out how to do if you're here. Just all the things to do with turning on and off and sleeping and all that sort of stuff. Home button functions, it has many functions, and there's going to be even more from what I understand in the next phone. What your powerful finger can do, what to do when you get lost. Because it's on.
Yes.
That'll be that bit. Keep going, press the home button. And a few other things. How to stop whose device goes to sleep too quickly and drives them crazy, how you can adjust that. Where the volume controls, the muting, all those sort of things. Control centre, which is what I just introduced you to then, just for setting up a few of these common settings. Multitasking. Anyone know what I mean by that? I'll come to that. What to do when the apps wiggle. What are the wiggles?
Oh yeah.
The standard apps. We'll have a bit of a chat about the standard apps. So, talk about the battery. What drains the battery? And setting up a passcode lock. So that's just to give you a bit of a flavour of what we're going to try and cover today. It's quite a lot, but if it's all going too fast, just go, whoa. Make me stop if I've left anything out or if I'm not explaining it properly. Before we start, we're going to talk about both the iPad and the iPhone. Hands up who's got the iPad. Hands up who's got the iPhone. Right, so most people have got both. They're covered. Yeah, connected, beautiful. So nearly all the functions are the same. And I've got my iPad up here and my iPhone up here. So I'll be trying to cover both of them. If I skim over one or the other, please just tell me that I've missed something if you haven't found the same thing on the other device. They're very similar, but things are just in a slightly different place. So if you can't find it, and if I haven't told you where it is, then do stop me and let me know. The main difference really is just the size and width where options are, and that your phone makes phone calls. So that's really the key difference. It's got the phone app and it makes
Don't
phone
any
calls.
iPads make phone calls?
They make FaceTime calls.
Is that what it is?
Yes. Oh, right.
Yes. So you could say yes, they do make phone calls. They can make FaceTime calls, Skype calls, even through Facebook you can make Facebook calls. So when we were in Vietnam, sorry?
Does Skype?
You can download the Skype app. Yeah, absolutely. And Facebook Messenger now, when we were in Vietnam, I was able to call a friend of mine who was also in Vietnam using Facebook Messenger. I didn't have to use the phone. Just spoke on the phone without the phone. It's fantastic, yeah. So I thought we'd just start by talking terminology. Apps, home screen, home button, lock screen. These are all things we're going to talk about at various times during this class. iOS, upgrades versus updates. Wi-Fi, cellular, mobile data. Is anyone scared yet? Mobile internet, 3G, 4G, modem, router, SIM card. So they're all things to do with our phones and our iPads. So let's look at what we're talking about. Apps, short for applications. So in my olden days when I started with IT, everything was called a program or an application. The cool Apple people sort of abbreviated it to apps. I think they were the ones that first started calling them apps. And apps, they became sort of cool little apps when they were on these sort of devices. So it's basically, I used to be a programmer. It's a collection of programs that do something. And usually they do a particular function. The camera app will take photos. The Photos app will let you manage your photos. Mail app for mailing. So they have a particular set of functions that they cover.
What does a program do? Writes the code?
Yeah, as a program,
Then
you write the
you can work
code to tell the computer what to do. So write some code to make the computer display a screen and tell the computer what to do when someone inputs certain data.
Why did you want to do it?
Why did I do it? What did you do that for? I needed a fourth subject at uni, and I went, oh, that'll do. And I ended up loving it. Yeah, serious. I fell into it. I didn't set out to do it. I was going to be a maths teacher, and yeah, I fell into it, and I loved it. It's just obviously a wiring thing. I'm just wired that way.
I'm not wired that way.
I'm not wired that way.
Yes, you'll get
I dream in code.
just changing. Everybody can change.
Freak.
So I'm hoping.
So there's
I'm
contacts
hoping.
for your address book, notes for jotting notes. These are just some of the apps that are on your iPad and iPhone. These are all apps. And the little symbols are the app icons that are on your home screen. The home screen. We'll segue into that. So the home screen. It is the screen on which your apps sit. So the screen that you see when you're seeing all those little app icons. That's your home screen. And you can have multiple home screens if you've got lots of apps. So if I'm swiping, I can see how many home screens I've got.
Do you get a basic set, Lynette, when
You
you
do.
buy the phone? you
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You get Apple's basic set.
Yeah.
Going further on, I'll go through the main ones with you and talk about them. So yes, you get Apple's basic set, and I think nearly all of them now, you cannot delete the basic set. Although coming up in the next release, there is talk, from what I understand, you will be able to get rid of the basic set if you don't want them. Because each of these apps takes up a little bit of space on your device. And if you don't want them, like the Watch app, if you're never going to buy an Apple Watch, why do you need the Watch app taking up
Yes,
space?
of
So
course.
from what I understand, that's coming very soon, that you'll be able to get rid of them. Oh, there you go. There's that. You knew to ask that. You can add more. The home button, one and only button on the front of your screen, is this little button here. And how it looks depends on what version of phone you have, how new your phone is. I've got the one that's got the silver rim, and if it's black, it's a black rim. That's the touch sensor. So you've got the touch sensor, whereas the older ones just have the button with the little square on it.
Yes.
So there's the older style button and the newer style button, although if it's black you don't see the rim. And that's your touch sensor. Apparently the next release is going to be, there's going to be a little bit different functionality in that home button, but that's all rumours, so we'll wait and see.
And that will be a 7, I suppose.
Well, they're saying 7 or maybe 6 SE, and an E to the end. It's all rumours.
It says 7.
No,
I think
it's 7. Fin review says 7. Yeah, different places think different things. So that's the home button, and we will talk about the different functions because it has more than one function depending on how long you press it for, how many times you press it, when you press it, all sorts of things. Another common thing on our iPad is, an iPhone, is the lock screen. Whoops, that's your lock screen that has the time and that you normally swipe to unlock, or you use your fingerprint. So the lock screen is there whenever you wake up your phone or turn it on. And it's designed to stop you from, opening an app, deleting an app, doing something because you didn't realise the screen was unlocked. So it keeps your apps and things safe. It stops you pocket calling and that sort of stuff. And it has the slide to unlock pocket calling off screen.
You pocket called me the other
day.
day.
I think I was running out the door.
I looked at it and I said,
I did.
This has got to be a pocket call.
It wasn't quite a pocket call, but it was a mistake call. So it'll always show the current date and time, but you can customise that. So you can put a nice family photo on it. So for me, I've put on mine a family photo. Turn it round, and so you can customise it to have a photo of your choice. or you can choose one of Apple's screensavers. Try and get this password right. Yes. iOS. iOS is to our mobile devices, our Apple mobile devices, what Windows is to Microsoft computers, to PCs and things.
Right.
And so it's what we call an operating system. So it's a big wad of software, a big app thing that allows everything to run the way it does. So it controls displaying your home screen and what happens when you tap an app, and all the various controls around your device and what it does. Windows is Microsoft's PC operating system. iOS is Apple's iPad, iPhone, iPod Touch operating system. And OS X is Apple's operating system. They're changing it to Mac OS, I think, with the next version, but they're all just different operating systems. So apps are written for a particular operating system. So the apps that you get on your iPhone will not be the same apps that you have on your computer. Different versions are written for different operating systems. So yeah, often you can get the same app on your computer, but you have to get it separately.
And you have to download them separately.
You have to download them separately. iPad and iPhone, your apps, you'll often be able to get the app on both. You buy it on one and you can get it on the other, but there are some apps that are separate that you can only get on an iPad, or that perhaps you have to buy on each device. So it just depends on the app as to which applies. And if you've ever heard of Android, Android is Google's operating system that runs on other mobile devices. So
My phone's
Apple's,
on that.
you've got Android, yeah. So and
Present from Telecom, free.
oh, how lovely!
Oh, that
They're
was
so
nice.
giving, aren't they?
They gave me 2.
2. Oh, lucky you! So Android, Apple's iOS only runs on Apple's devices, whereas Android, the Google operating system, can run on any number of models of phone, different brands of phone. Same as Windows. Windows can run on lots of brands of computer, whereas Apple can only run on Apple. So Apple locks down, and it's one of the reasons that these devices are a lot more secure than Android or Windows computers and handheld devices. And in fact, you won't get you might have seen in my newsletter that there was a new release this week of iOS, which is a security patch. Always take those updates. Always take those security updates, and I always put in the newsletter when there's an update, because they're very quick at getting out those patches to the operating system iOS to prevent anyone from hacking into your phone or getting a virus or whatever. So these are a lot more secure than other devices, even a Windows computer. Like people often say to me, I don't want to use this for mobile banking or anything. I'll use my computer, but this is actually probably more secure than your computer.
Mind you, listening to the guy on John Fane this morning, who's doing the Four Corners program tonight.
Oh, is he? Okay. Is it on this?
It's a must tonight.
Oh, what is
especially
it? What's
for
the
you.
topic?
It's about hacking and just how bad hacking is.
Yeah.
And he said when he came home from this conference he went to in Geneva or someplace, he came home and redid all his passwords because apparently they're saying that they're, in the world today, they're writing code so quickly, we can't keep up with it.
No.
And everybody's at risk of being hacked.
Absolutely.
So it's
you've got to have
scary.
strong passwords, and in the online world, with any of your online accounts, and your online accounts are the likes of Google, your Gmail account, your iCloud account, your iTunes account, your BigPond account, all of your accounts that you have in the online world. I've got Dropbox and Evernote and all these tools where your information is stored with someone else. You should always have two forms of verification. So you should actually not just rely on your password. Like you set up a password, often people use the same password across the board. You should have different passwords, absolutely have different passwords. For everything. Different for everything. You should have complex passwords. So not simple passwords, not you know, like your name and your birth year or your cat's name, and it's, you know, that's got to be something quite complex. And you should enable a feature called two-step verification or two-factor authentication. They're the same sort of thing. And what it means is your password is not enough for someone to access your account.
So you'll be dealing with that?
Not so much in this session.
No, but
because
in
that's
session.
different. Yeah, I do it with the iCloud. It's because it depends on what accounts you've
Because
got.
all of a sudden my desktop
Yes.
is not connected to the cloud, and it says what your two-step
Oh, that's-
verification. And I know that when I came to the classes last time,
Yeah.
I did it, but I've got no idea what.
Okay. Have you changed devices since? We'd have to have a look. That's that's to do with iCloud, that particular one.
So, but you're
Yeah.
saying, so for each thing that you have an ID
An account.
for,
Yep.
you need to have
A separate
not one
password.
across the board.
No,
Not one
absolutely.
across the board.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Because, and I deal with it all, because I deal with it all the time where you get the hacking's getting smarter and they're on it the whole time. But the other thing that you're getting is more and more of these emails, these phishing emails that can look so legitimate, and they can catch you out, and they catch out people. It could just be at a moment of you're in a rush or you're just distracted,
Or you haven't got your glasses on and
or
you
it
push the wrong
happens at the
button.
same time. You know, about you say you're just talking to Telstra, and then you get this email. You go, oh, that'll be to do with that. And so they can get you at a moment when you weren't paying attention. And so what happens in that case is you often that type of email, when you click the link, will take you to a page that looks so real, that says sign into your Gmail or sign into your iPad. Sometimes it's clever enough to work out what your email address is to take you to the one that's relevant. And so I've seen it so many times, and the minute you sign in with your email address and your password, they've got you. So they've got your email address and password, and they know that people use the same one on their PayPal, their eBay, their Big Pond, their Gmail, their, you know, like the whole iCloud. So then they can get into your iCloud, they can get into your mail, they can, and so you've got to, the minute you think you've been hacked, you've got to change your passwords.
So I remember during the course that I've just graduated from. You said there's an app you can get that actually stores all your passwords.
One password. I'll do that in the last session, so we'll talk about that. So you need an app. There's an app for that. Come to that. That'll make you come to last class.
That's going to come.
It's the second one.
So what show is that tonight? What's that?
It's shopping. It's the shopping.
Oh, yes.
What's that?
Yeah.
8:30.
Yeah.
8:30.
Yeah, too.
So I'm very conscious of that, and I make sure all my passwords are different. They're quite complex. I change them regularly. No.
But you change them regularly because you've got that app, so you can
It's
actually
easy because I can just, as long as I change it in there as well, then it doesn't matter if I forgot.
Do you have a system? Because it's hard to think them up sometimes.
Yeah. Actually, I'll find an article, because it's a great article that talks about. Let me write that on the board.
Thank you, dear.
Good things to do. Let's get rid of that for a sec. Yeah.
That's why it's so good, because that thing's come up.
Was there something else I said I'd send as well? I think I said something else.
the curve of forgetting.
Oh, the curve. Right. Thank you. The curve.
Well done.
Oh,
Very good.
forgetting. Top of the glass to you. And 2 is the
That's why it's a worry, because that is me.
Only.
Big time.
password tricks. So this article was quite good because it sort of gave suggestions for
And full course tonight, don't
and
forget.
for
So 8:30.
8:30, yeah.
Right. Maybe I should send out a notification of that. Yeah, like you can even do a phrase, like the I don't know, some phrase that you know, maybe it's a line from a poem, and you can choose the first letter from each of those.
The quick
words.
brown fox jumped
Yeah,
up.
that's the only one I could think of.
We're really testing our memories.
It just shows we're all
But
the
also
same
you'll
age
remember
bracket.
that, as an example, I've got the video going, so this will, if anyone watches this, they'll know now. But we've got and I won't say the real one, our Wi-Fi password is something like purple balloon 079. or or it's a combination, purple rhinoceros or something like that, a combination of words.
Yes,
Never forget it.
No.
It's really easy to remember. So whenever someone says, what's the Wi-Fi? Purple rhinoceros, I 7.5, whatever.
So we have to go and revisit Dr. Zeus.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was in relation to what we were just talking about was this concept of updates versus upgrades. So Apple does, as we've seen, regularly release updates. And updates usually are patching something, and they're patching a security flaw, hole, they're fixing a problem. Sometimes they're releasing a set of new features, like their more major releases will release some new features. So they will go from, we're currently on iOS 9. Yes, 9. Yes,
Is it 9.1.5?
9.1.5.
Yes.
9.3.5. Yeah. So what they will do about once a year, they'll release a new major release. So we'll be moving to iOS 10, say next month. I think it is. It's going
So
to be.
what do we have to do as an individual?
So when that is first released, I would say do nothing. Because I would not take that, I will take it because I'm a glutton for punishment, but I would not take it as soon as it's released. Even if you hear it's available, be wary about taking it straight away because there's often problems to start with. And especially if you've got limited data allowance on your home internet, you're going to end up having to download over and over and over because they keep patching things. So you're best to wait for a month or two before you take the new iOS, go from 9 to 10, say.
I would wait for you to say so.
Wait for me to say so, yeah. Jump on in. So I will put in the newsletter when it comes out. I'll come to that, yeah. And then after it's been upgraded, that's an upgrade as distinct from an update, they will then release updates.
Yeah.
And so the first, it'll be 10.0, then there'll be 10.0.1, 10.0.2, 10.0.3, and then when they've got a more major fix or maybe some new features, they'll go to 10.1, 10.1.1, 10.1.2.
So whereabouts in settings do
It's
you
in
find
settings general.
which one you are on?
To find which one you're on, go to settings general. So to find out anything about your iPhone or iPad, it's settings general about. And that will tell you what version you are currently running. Settings general about. And I'm on 9.3.5, so I am up to date. But what you can also see there, version 9.3.5, and what you can also see there is how much space you've got on your device. Yeah, it's an interesting one to look at as well. So those three are very interesting.
I've got 9.3.4.
4, so you haven't taken that latest release. So to take the latest release, I've just come, so I was in about, I've tapped my general up the top to come back a step.
Oh yes.
And then I've got software update under about. And that's where you can always go to see if you have an update available.
Right.
So mine says it's up to date. I don't think this one's up to date yet because it was out of battery. So if I come to my settings, general, software update. Oh, this one's gone to sleep. Come back.
This is an update.
Put it back on.
Okay.
So for me here we go. So that's what you normally would see when it's due for an update.
So I've just looked at this and I'm on 9.3.4.
Yes.
Right,
So
to
don't do it now because it'll knock you out for a while. Settings. So the settings app is this one.
Yep.
So the
It
settings
also
app
says I haven't got a Wi-Fi.
general. And I'll give you the password. Is anyone not on my Wi-Fi?
Yeah, no.
I don't need it so much today, but it's iTandCoffee Visitor, and it's
Okay.
Yes, I've got
So-
one too.
Phil, what should I
Keeps
do?
coming up.
Because it didn't
Yes.
seem to like your system signal. 9.3.
yeah, you don't need Wi-Fi so much today because we're not really doing much, but we can get you on if you need it. Yeah, so you need to update to 9.3.5. You're currently on 9.3.4, so you're almost up to date. Well done.
Well, it says a little number. It says a little number on the setting.
That's the other thing you notice. So if I go back to my home screen, it doesn't always though. See, look at my settings. Quite often. Has anyone got a red one? Have you got a red? See, there's no red one on there. Normally that will tell you that there is an update, but it hasn't come up yet.
No.
So sometimes when you hear it in the press or in my newsletter, do go and check. Oops. Because it might be there even though you don't see that one. So I have got it ready to do on that one. So settings, so you've got a 1 there. So this is where you go to do it. Settings, software, settings general.
So go into settings.
So it was general on the left side and then it's going to check on here to see if there's an update. And it'll come up in a sec. And do it at home because if you do it here it'll knock your device out for a while it does the update. So do it, I would suggest doing it when you go home today to bring it up to date. That's right, so don't do it now, but when you go, have you got Wi-Fi at home? Yeah, when you go home, do it at home. Yeah. Okay, so yes, go ahead with that one, and I do try, keep an eye on the newsletter, I do try to keep you up to date on what's happening there.
Thank you.
Okay, we've just done that, how about that? Yeah, so just remember those 2 key areas for information about your device, the about area and the software update. So that about area is handy to see, if you start to run out of space, you can see how much you've got left, how much you've used. The capacity is our devices have a certain amount of storage capacity. You get what you buy. You don't get to change that. So it's like buying, you can buy a 1-drawer filing cabinet, 2-drawer, 3-drawer, 4-drawer. I've got a 4-drawer filing cabinet here.
So you got all that capacity?
I've got, this is a 128 gigabyte device.
Oh.
The base one was 16 gigabyte.
Right.
So I would never buy a 16 gigabyte because it doesn't have enough capacity.
mine
Yes,
says
you did right when you were shopping.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, mine says 11.8.
Just says twice, so I put it in and it's iTandCoffee visitor.
Yes, try the underscore visitor.
Well, that was the best plan for me. Because it all comes under it comes under the plans, doesn't it, Lynette?
What's that?
So your plan to get that much space?
No, that's not the plan. That's the device I purchased.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it is sort of in terms of what I pay for the phone.
Yes.
But you pay for either a 16 gigabyte phone, a 64, a 128, or I think you can get a 256 gigabyte. You pay. Now, in your plan, you're obviously doing the repayment.
Yes.
But the other thing that you pay for in your plan, which I'm coming to, is to do with how much data you can download and upload each month, how much internet capacity. Yeah, so this is like the filing cabinet, how many, drawers and how big those drawers are, how much you can squash in. And then the other aspect is your internet allowance, which is how many things can arrive in your drawer and out in your drawer. How many times you can open and close it and put things in and out, which we're coming to.
It's easier when you explain it.
Oh, is it?
Isn't it?
Yes. All right, and so we come to this aspect, which is talking about accessing the internet and the different ways that you can access the internet. So there's 2 main ways. There's your fixed connection, internet connection, which I have here at the shop. There's the device that lets me connect to the internet, or us connect to the internet here. I have a wire that comes in through, it's the phone line coming into the wall, into the floor there, and it comes up and it connects to there. So I'm actually wired for internet I'm wired for sound. And so that's called, that particular connection that I have through the phone line is called an ADSL connection. You've heard of ADSL? Yeah, so that's ADSL. The other type, or types now, the other type you can have is a cable connection. So here, ADSL is via the phone line. At my home, I have a cable connection. So I have a much faster internet connection at home, which means more data can be transferred at a faster rate than it can here. ADSL is usually much slower.
That's the thing.
Sometimes it's above,
But sometimes, often it goes underneath.
Mine's under, yeah.
Just like the telephone.
Yes,
Comes
Mine came under the driveway.
Under the front fence.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, so cable is, you can get some anywhere between sort of 30, we talk in megabits per second. When we're talking about the speed of your internet connection, that's how fast information can, how big the tunnel is that the information can come through. So how much can come at once. So on ADSL, you typically a maximum of about 12 megabits per second. And that's good if you can get that. If you're a long way from the exchange, the phone exchange, or you've got poor copper wire connection, it can be much slower. A lot of people I know in sort of the Glen Iris area get 3-4 megabits per second. My cable connection, I get 110 megabits per second. But the average, your general cable, say with Telstra, will be 30 megabits per second.
Oh.
NBN is coming to a lot of areas, and it will give faster connection than ADSL.
They'll let you know when the NBN is coming to your area.
They will, yeah, they will. You've got to be careful though, because I did have a client 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was in my last newsletter, the one before the last one, who had someone come and knock on her door. She was having problems with Telstra. Someone knocked on her door and said, I can give you NBN. And she believed it. Yeah, so she contacted me, so it doesn't matter, I don't need Telstra anymore, the NBN's coming. And I looked at because you can actually look online to see when it's due to come, and there was no NBN coming to that area anytime soon.
Oh, that's terrible.
And so she rang, who did she ring? Scamwatch. There's a Scamwatch number. Scamwatch said ring the police straight away, so she rang the police. So they were scammers. Yeah, but she actually had them coming back the next day to install. And who knows what they would have installed?
Wow.
They probably would have put, they know that most people haven't got a clue, so they might have put a new router in, and she probably would have paid lots of money and given them credit card details. So yeah, it was very lucky that she actually texted me to say, it's okay, I'm leaving Telstra. Hang on. So just be aware, just be alert that, be very careful before you if someone comes to your door, they're typically from Telstra or Optus. If they come and say, I'm from the NBN, because the NBN's not going to come to your door.
But
They go through a retailer.
Telstra.
They weren't from Telstra.
I would actually ring Telstra.
Yeah, exactly.
I would ring, ring Inspire.
Remember, that's what happened to me.
Yeah. You just got to ring.
I was being scammed, and I thought I was having this email came through. I responded to it. And I rang Telstra.
Yeah.
But the scammers had actually given me a number and said, they're technicians. And so I rang this number.
Yeah.
And they still pretended they were Telstra.
Yeah, they're very clever. It's happened actually also that like someone pretending to be the police ringing and then giving a number and someone answers saying it's the police station. So you've just got to you don't ring the number they give you. You would ring. Get online, find the number for the main number and ring that. Don't ever trust a number that they're given. Scamwatch is a good place to look, and that NBN scam is mentioned on Scamwatch. Definitely look at Scamwatch, and you can ring them. Actually, it was in that newsletter I put the number for Scamwatch. If ever you want to double check, you can actually ring them and ask. So just be very suspicious of everyone and everything. Everything. You might on your iPad or iPhones. I've had a client who has a few times, I don't know what she's accessed that's caused it, but a few times she's had something that looks like what we call ransomware come up on her iPad. So she'll be in Safari looking at something, and then this screen pops up that says, you need to do this, you need to do that, something a bit nasty, ring this number, do this, and it's locked up her Safari session and she can't seem to do anything else. And so it looks like she's been hacked, or that she's got this problem on her iPad and iPhone. You don't get those problems. Like it's fake, and the way to get out of it is you can clear. I can show you when we do Safari, but you can clear your website history, clear the data, and that gets rid of the problem, and you can keep going. But it catches people who don't. They go, oh my God! It caught out a 23-year-old person that I know that had that on their Mac, and so did call the number and did let these people on the device. Did give them the credit card.
Oh no.
Did the whole lot. And then I get the call, go racing down. It's like, oh my God.
So they would be scamming lots of children, wouldn't they?
Well, this guy was 23. Sorry. They can get scammed. Anyone can get scammed. And people sort of feel very ashamed that they got scammed, but it's very easy to get scammed. So you just got to act quickly. If you suspect, you just act quickly. You change your password. If you need, you call me. You just got to do something. Don't just think, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
A very popular one.
Because the faster you... The post office one. Yes. And the AGL one, I got that again the other day. The AGL, there's an AGL one. If I don't have AGL, but I got an email saying that I can register to have online bills. Click the link and.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that is actually a scam, and there's been a whole heap of I get them every day. Okay, so you can connect to the internet using Wi-Fi. So the message there is that's using a fixed connection to your home, to premises like this, and it's actually a fixed internet connection. So in the olden days it's probably about 3 years ago, you had what was called a modem. And that modem connected to your point in the wall, and then the modem, you had a wire coming out connecting to your computer, and you were happy. That was all you needed. But then we got, back in the late 2008 or 9, more and more of these mobile devices. And suddenly it wasn't enough just to have one connection to a computer, a wired connection. We needed Wi-Fi. So what you did then was you added a router. Something called a router, and you connected that to your modem so that you could get an internet signal, a signal going around the house. These days, you tend to have them combined into one device. So rather than having a separate modem and router, you'll be able to buzz like crazy tonight. Talk about the modem and router. ADSL and cable. So that's what mine looks like up there, and that is actually a modem and router in one device. It's an ADSL one. So that you have to you get a different one. It's up the top next to the camera there, just up on top.
I see behind.
What looks like a microwave.
Yes, it does look like a microwave.
It does, doesn't it? It has all the switching and stuff for the building, so it's got all the data points.
Yes, I've got a small, but you're trying to.
A little one, yeah.
And that was $69.
Yeah, that don't have to be expensive.
But if I wanted it installed, it would cost me $300.
Yes.
But there happened to be a television man fixing the ordinary
It's so
landline.
easy to
and I said,
install.
should I use this with this? And he said, oh, give it to me. But I did.
Nice man. Poor little old lady.
I'm not saying because he was Indian. But he turned out to know what he's doing.
So every router, every one of those sort of devices, it it sends out a Wi-Fi network. And here's a trick. I often get people, who have got a problem connecting to the internet, and they say to me, "Oh, but my Wi-Fi's working because the symbol's there. That symbol, this little symbol.
Yeah.
So my Wi-Fi's working, but I don't know why I can't get internet." The fact you've got a signal, all that means is the signalling from your router is working.
Right.
So the router is sending out a signal and you're connected to that, but the router might not be connecting properly to the internet. So if ever you find that you're not getting internet, even if you've got the bars are all there, I do one of two things. I either turn my Wi-Fi off on the device and turn it back on.
Yeah.
Sometimes that helps. If that doesn't help, then I will turn my router off for about 10 seconds.
So can you just do that? Can you just turn your...
So if I don't want to turn it off on mine, I would do this. If I do that, I'll lose my connection to the TV screen. But I would tap that normally to turn off my Wi-Fi. So I'm going to come to this control centre, but this is another thing that's in the control centre, along with our do not disturb, which I should turn on there, is the turning Wi-Fi on and off. Or even put it into airplane mode and then turn airplane mode off again. So what you're doing is taking it off the Wi-Fi network and putting it back on, just in case there's a problem with that connection.
What happens when you see in shopping centres there's free Wi-Fi?
Free Wi-Fi, you can use it, but you need to be very careful because free Wi-Fi is not exactly safe. Because on a free Wi-Fi connection, you can get people that are known as sniffers, and they have their devices. They are attached to that same public network, and if you do anything that is not properly encrypted, like your communication is not properly protected, they can get that and find out certain information.
Really?
So yeah, and even for example, if you've got an old Big Pond account, which I have. The old Big Pond account, the way it's installed on many iPads and iPhones is not secure. So if you join a public network, you could be inadvertently sending your password and email address unencrypted. And if there's a sniffer on that network, they can take hold of that and you hack.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's yes.
So you would suggest not to join public networks?
I mean, this is getting into more complex stuff, but I don't tend to join a public network without something called a VPN. This is probably a bit rude, but I was saying to my kids when we were in Vietnam, I've just put my condom on my phone. You've got to have protection. You know, it's like it's actually a secure tunnel that you turn that on, and then your communications are protected by this shield that you don't have otherwise.
And you cover that in this?
Oh no, that's more complex.
So in internet cafes,
yeah, you have to actually
wherever-
get a product, buy a product, and that. So that's
What about public libraries? They would surely be a bit away.
No public internet.
Public library.
Yeah, anyone can sit in public places. So I'm very cautious about using a public network.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So if you go overseas.
Overseas, yeah.
What happens there?
It's the same. Whatever public network you use. If you go
So if you go
overseas.
to a hotel even.
Yeah, I still use a VPN there. I still have mine.
So I've just been away for a couple of weeks, and in the apartment we had free Wi-Fi.
Yes. And generally that will be okay because you've got the password, but I always think about, but someone was here yesterday and had that password too. So if they were a bit of a scammer, they could be sitting outside there on the same network if I'm not. So I'm suspicious. I'm over cautious.
I don't know enough, that's the difference.
Yeah. I cover all that sort of stuff in the travel.
It was
with
quite a
technology.
secure password. You know,
Yeah, if it's quite secure, but
it had numbers and letters and it had a symbol.
But I still worry that if there was someone staying there previously,
well,
then
obviously
they can have it as well. And, you know, in
That's
theory,
amazing.
that's not going to happen. You'd be very unlucky, but I tend to err on the side of caution whenever I'm using something that's not my own network.
Well, I just turned off my mobile network and used theirs for the fortnight because I just thought, oh, look.
Yeah, that's fine, but you just need,
You would think that was safe.
Yeah, generally you are. And you know, a lockdown network like that, you'd have to have someone else who stayed there and is a scammer. You know, so the odds are pretty low, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they're good habits. It's about creating habits, though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is absolutely.
Again.
Every Wi-Fi network, and you will notice that if you go to settings Wi-Fi right now, so settings, in your settings, your little settings icon, so this one here, in your settings, which is where you do all your setup and your connections. And if you have a look there, you should see that it can actually see, your device is able to see that there's a heap of Wi-Fi networks around here. So these are all, there'll be routers for these that are sending the signals in this area from this retail precinct.
So, hang on, where did you find that?
Settings,
Yeah.
Wi-Fi,
Oh, Wi-Fi.
up the top,
Oh,
the
yeah.
very top, under settings, Wi-Fi, up the very top. There.
Oh,
Yeah, so you're already joined, yeah. And so every network has a name, so these are the names of the networks that are around here. It's only going to see anything that is within about a 20 to 50 metre radius of where you are. And the signal gets weaker the further away you get. So you'll see this one here is from someone else that's quite weak. That's upstairs, that's a bit weaker. So the bars shows you how strong the signal is. And each of these networks, if I was to tap on any of them, so OstFam, I have to have the password to be allowed to use it. So it's protected and I can't join it because I don't know the password. So here at the iTandCoffee shop, if you want to join the iTandCoffee network, it's iTandCoffee_visitor. Did you manage to do that? Some of you will already have it. So you tap on iTandCoffee visitor and then you put in the password that's there. So you come to the top. Yeah, you're okay there, Heather, because you've joined it before. And you tap
Oh,
there.
that's the password.
And the password is, I can type it for you. Might be easier. I'm not off by heart, yeah.
I thought I would have had it before.
Is it a capital L?
Yes.
L3?
Shh, don't say it out loud.
Video.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, sorry.
I have to change it again. You're okay. You're already on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll
I
see.
can't find
You're already on it.
I might have changed. Oh, no, not class. Visitor. But I have changed it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because I think it was October last year.
Yeah, I put a capital.
And you're then looking
That's
for
very early
Settings.
She's done. You're in settings. You're already there,
Says Lentec.
and now you need to go into
This is one of my tricks.
Wi-Fi.
So 3 and A.
3.
So that's another trick.
Yeah, so let's go again.
And so when you've connected, you will find that you've got a tick
Yes.
next to it at the top, like I have there. There's the tick. Anyone else need that?
I just pressed
There's
join.
Wi-Fi.
Yep. When you join, you'll get the tick, and you'll see that you've got your Wi-Fi symbol up the top.
Okay,
Okay,
now you've got to
yep.
put that password.
All right, so then you're on my Wi-Fi network. And it will remember. So if you come back, if I haven't changed the password, which I will again soon, but if I haven't changed, I need to change it every now and then because people go to lunch and use my Wi-Fi. So when I change that, you might come again and might keep trying and not be able to join. And because I've changed it, you've actually got to tell it to forget me. Before you'll be able to join again, what you will have to do in order to join the network again, you'll probably have to tap. Normally when you want to join a network, you're tapping on the name. Not on this, you tap on the name and then you put in the password. But if you've got the case where a password's been changed, you've got to tell it to forget what it previously knew because it'll keep trying. So if you tap that I up there and you say forget this network, then it will give you the opportunity to join again. So it's just a trick that not a lot of people are aware of. Right?
Interesting.
So if you come again and you can't join, try that.
Okay.
Try to get it to forget and then rejoin.
Good.
And if at home, if you ever don't, like often you join your Wi-Fi network at home at the time, and then later if you get a new device, you think, oh gosh, what was that password for my Wi-Fi at home? Just be aware that not only do you usually get a little card that came with the device that has the name of the network and the password on it, it also is generally, unless you've changed it, on the bottom of the router. Generally, on the bottom. And the words that it has is Wi-Fi network name or SSID, network key or password. They're just different, or pass key, passphrase. There's different terminology for the different routers. But generally, you will find that information on the bottom if you've lost the card.
I think I have.
Not hard to do.
Does that apply the router? Can I just
Automatically goes until we do
compared
that.
cable to ADSL?
Same.
You have the router as well.
Yes.
Usually these days you have one device that
Yeah,
does
we've got
both.
one device.
Yeah.
Got set up a year
So it's a
ago.
router, a modem and a router combined. All that's different with the ADSL versus the cable is the connection point at the back.
Okay.
You know, because the cable one has a round connection, you just screw it in,
Yeah.
whereas the ADSL has a phone.
And you
line.
said that Telstra gave, has a standard of what they, of the thingos, byte things that you said, but you've got more. How come you've
I
got more?
think you can pay for more.
You can pay for
So
more.
when I got the more, they didn't ask to be paid for it, so I actually don't have to pay more. Their standard cable now, when you get cable, you get a standard cable. If you want their faster or super fast, you've got to pay a premium,
Okay.
depending on which you have. We've got the top one, but we're not paying a premium because I had an argument with them and said I'm not paying for that. Because when I got it initially, they didn't tell me I was ever going to have to pay for it, and they haven't changed my contract. So I've said I'm not paying for it. And so it took me a while, but I got them to refund and stop charging me for it. Yeah, you got to be persistent with Telstra. Better edit that out.
You probably know more than they do anyway.
Oh, some of the things they tell you. Oh my God, I had a client last week, the week before, who told her that the reason her Mac couldn't connect to the router was that the Mac was too old. She needed to upgrade her Mac. And her Mac was newer than my Mac. But said that it was just that she'd keyed the password wrong. But when she rang Telstra because she was struggling with it, they said, oh, your Mac's too old. Because often those call centres don't know Mac, they don't use Mac, and so they will so often tell you it's because you've got Mac. It's because you're using Safari, because they just don't know.
Anyway, following those call services is difficult at times.
Oh, it is very difficult.
yes.
Very
Someone
difficult.
who's in
Gives me a bit of
some other country.
gives me an anxiety attack every time I have to do that.
And they
Right,
sing
so
everything
right.
at you and you can't understand.
Oh.
No, it's very difficult.
All right, so going on with that, so that's talking Wi-Fi, either via ADSL cable, extra lucky you may be NBN, but it's all wired. It's all wired, and it's usually faster than the alternative, which is using your mobile data. So to use your mobile data, you need to have a SIM card, a device with a SIM card. So your phone will have a SIM card. That SIM card lets you have calls and texts, plus it gives you access to mobile data to get the internet via the mobile data network. Your iPad may have a SIM card, but it will just be for mobile data, not for calls as well.
And will they be the same number or different numbers?
Different numbers. Every SIM card is a different phone number. Yes,
So-
but you don't tend to use the phone number for your
SIM
iPad.
It is on the
Yeah,
bill.
it has a number. It's on the bill.
It shows on the bill,
Exactly.
yes.
So I was in flight yesterday, so I put it on airplane mode.
Yes,
I woke up this morning, I turned my iPad on,
yes.
and it said, there is no SIM. And I thought, so what was happening?
Oh, maybe
Did I-
the SIM dislodged a bit. That's a bit weird. Doesn't normally
Very
do
good.
that.
It's never done that.
Yeah.
So
Did it pop up without you doing anything, or did it continue to say
No,
that?
it just popped up and I closed
Yeah.
the whole thing down and started again, and
then
it
it was
was
fine.
still there.
Ah.
And I thought, oh,
This is on the iPad or on
yes,
the
on the iPad, and I thought it was in my bag. Did somebody come? Did I go to the toilet and
Oh,
leave it in
that's-
the bag or whatever?
So that.
No, but
Oh.
anyhow, so I got terribly clever because at the last class you showed me how to pull
get
the
it
SIM
out.
out.
Yep,
So
yep.
I pulled the SIM out, it popped out, flew out.
Yeah,
I
and then
put it back together
and it
again, and it worked.
worked. Yeah.
Ah.
Sometimes it
That's
can
the
do that. It can just dislodge a bit. So that is, you did the right thing.
So
That's
it
the best
wasn't
bit.
that I turned it into
No.
airplane mode.
No, definitely not. It
It
might have
was
got
just-
knocked or something, but and it was just perhaps a bit, you know,
Yeah.
skewed in the little thing. So
Okay.
you've got your SIM card is in. For me, if I look at this, here's where my SIM card slot is in the side there. And when you've got the phone, you've got a little sort of paper clippy thing that you can
yes.
plug in there. You can use a paper clip to
Yeah.
pop it out
I've
if you ever
I've
need
had
to.
to take the little thing down and say to the boys.
What's this? What have you given me this for?
It's much easier just get a paper clip.
It is, yeah.
Oh, I think it looks.
So that's what it looks like there, that
The
little
nuisance
thing there.
Just one more thing you don't need.
Yeah, I know, I'm kidding. All right, so if you don't have an internet connection at home, this is an option for what you can do instead. If you don't have a fixed internet, you can use mobile data. But mobile data tends to be a lot more expensive per megabyte, gigabyte than your Wi-Fi, than your fixed line. So it is a more expensive option, and there's certain things on your iPad that you can't do while you're on just a mobile data connection. You can't update. You can't, you know, you have to be on Wi-Fi to do one of the software updates, the iOS updates. And there's certain apps that you can't download because they're too big, and there's just various things that you may not be able to do. So your mobile, let's go back up a thing, your mobile, it uses your mobile phone towers. So when you're using your mobile data, another term 3G or 4G, mobile, cellular data, cellular, they're all the same thing. They're talking about using the mobile phone towers to send and receive data via the internet rather than your fixed line connection through your modem.
And that is expensive when
It
you
is
use
usually more expensive, and generally, like our plans, I don't know about you, but my plan is I've got a 2.5 gigabytes per month plan for my mobile data. Do you know what you've got on yours?
Not offhand.
No, usually it's sort of, sometimes it's 500 megabytes, sometimes it's 1 gigabyte, sometimes I'm 2.5, I've gone
And
up
how
a
can
bit.
you tell? Can you tell on your
It'll be
machine?
on your bill.
It's
On your bill with your
Oh,
telco.
yeah. I've got a shared between the mobile and,
Right,
and the
yes.
and the mobile and this.
Yes.
But the reason they gave me a new mobile, two actually, was that I was on 2G.
Ah, yes, you
They're
had to
closing them down
change.
in
Yes.
December, closing
Yes.
that down, and they're legally obliged
To give you a new
give
phone.
me a
Yeah.
replacement.
So the 2G,
Really?
the 2G network
that's
is quite
clever.
old now, and they're phasing
No,
it out.
please.
So some mobile
get it.
phones are only capable of using 2G, so they have to actually move people off them onto the newer
Yeah, so-
3G, 4G
So they gave me two
SIMs.
mobiles.
Yeah, excellent.
What
Yeah.
sort of phone, Helen?
An
Or
Android
it's
one.
an Android.
An
Oh,
Android
it's
one.
a,
It's a bit heavier than these ones.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They're not going to
Got
give you
a
an
lot.
Apple, I suppose.
No, then, well, in saying that, no, typically not.
Depends what you
Although
get.
one of the plans I was going to get for the business, which because I just wanted to, I've got someone who's making calls for me, so I wanted to give her a phone. I could get a plan that had the 5S thrown in, and not have to pay extra for that if I wanted to. So just pay for the.
So my son's yelling at me every time
Oh,
I go,
bless.
I know he does. Every time I go into 4G when I'm looking at something when I'm sitting at tennis lessons.
Yeah, why is he yelling at you?
Because he's saying that it's too expensive and I'm not on our.
Are you going
Wi-
over your limit?
No.
Because normally, if you,
But I
on your
wanna-
mobile plan, your provider will send you text warnings if you're getting close to your limit.
Okay,
So
but
if you
it's
haven't
still a
had
valid
those-
way of using.
Absolutely, I use my mobile data all the time.
Okay, so he's
yeah.
telling me off saying you shouldn't use
Well-
4G when.
Absolutely. Well, it depends on what you're doing. I would use it to, look at my emails,
Yeah.
look at stuff on the internet. I wouldn't watch a movie on it.
No, but I'm sitting there
I
at
wouldn't.
tennis lessons doing all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Time to go
That's right.
put a sock in it.
That's right. So now I can go back saying I'm allowed to use 4G outside the house. Thank you very much.
I'm the boss of you.
That's right.
All right. And another option, just in case, this is just so that you're in the full picture. Sometimes you have a iPad that doesn't have a SIM card, and maybe you have a holiday house or you don't have a home internet connection. You can purchase devices that sort of are mobile Wi-Fi network devices, mobile internet. Yeah, so they are. I actually have one myself, and they are actually quite handy. I actually got one from Telstra one time when my internet was cut off by them, and so I made them give me one of these for free. And so I've had one of those for a few years, and they are handy for when you go away. You can I could plonk it on the bench, turn it on, and the kids could use it as well. But again, it's mobile data, so it is more expensive than your
So what is
fixed
the
line
difference
connection.
between that and
Hotspotting?
what I've got? No, I'm not hotspotting.
Oh,
I've got
no, this is more if you haven't got a SIM card in there yet. So if you do have a SIM card in your iPad or you've got an iPhone, you can avoid having one of these because you can use a feature called hotspotting.
Yes,
And that just means you turn on a feature on this
Oh, yes.
and this becomes like a Wi-Fi modem router.
Yeah.
And so your other device that doesn't have a SIM card can connect to this and use the internet through this.
So what's the distance if you're going over?
That's it. So
Overseas is a whole different
Where's
question.
my phone?
Come to the travel with my iPhone session. It's a whole different question.
Yeah.
So I use Wi-Fi at my hotel.
And so here's my personal
but I have my
hotspot.
VPN.
Okay.
And there's just you don't tend to
turn
need
it
the
on.
phone so much. So it's just a
And then
different.
I can use this.
It's different to in
using
Australia
this mobile
because your
service
requirements
here.
are different when you're over there.
But I
Sorry,
can't use it
not an easy
too
answer.
much with
Yeah.
this and that.
Yeah, so it's really a matter of
I
if
buy
you're
a 12
travelling,
months
it's always a matter of how connected
service
do you need to
here
be by
and use the
phone,
data until it runs out.
text,
And
mobile, all
just
that
pay
sort
for another
of
12
mobile
months.
data,
much
and
cheaper.
that dictates how you set yourself up before you go.
Yeah.
But you've got to make those decisions before you go. So there's different options. Yeah. So there's a guide for that somewhere. Over there. Oh, that one. Travelling with your iPad and iPhone.
It's getting warm here.
Well, you will sit in the sun by the window.
Well, he's sitting in the sun at tennis lesson tonight on 4G.
Can I just go back and
Yes.
think that picture,
Wait, this one?
that one?
Yeah.
If we purchase one of those for the house at Jamison,
Yep.
because often up there's only one mobile tower, you can't get through because everybody's using their phone.
It's still going to be
If
the
I
same.
yes.
Well, it's still the same. Unless it's a different provider, like if there's an Optus tower and
No, it's only.
yeah, no,
just
that's not going to help.
No, it's not.
Yes, yes. So I had one of those down the beach and in the end I just chucked it.
Yeah.
Because it was a Telstra service.
You just couldn't get service.
But I could actually using the Optus mobile, so I just got more data on
You
my
find the one
mobile
that
phone.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Well, that's why I have to.
I have to say I haven't
So
used
this
that
is-
lately because I
Yeah.
use my hotspot instead of
Yeah.
using that now.
And
don't
so I
actually.
use it, and I allow my grandchildren, on a use-it-comes basis to use the hotspot, which means they can't all sit there at the same time, staring at their machines and to take it in turns.
Take it in turns.
Which of course they could all connect if they
They
wanted.
could,
But
yeah.
I tell
You don't tell them that.
That's a family method.
That's funny.
They'll get wires of influence.
So I hope that wasn't too boring. I just wanted to get you in the picture of what we're talking about because it really helps just to actually have that background, I think, to understand what does your device have, what doesn't it have, and what can you use. Does anyone want to have a quick break before we go on?